I have heaps to do today. I love that.
Oh, really? Heaps? Is that Australian? I've been saying it heaps, right? I just said it heaps just then.
Yeah, you saying it heaps. You're talking about heaps, and I had heaps to do today, and I got a lot done. Heaps.
Yeah, I guess I didn't realize that, but I wouldn't say heaps of. Yeah, it's kind of yeah, maybe it's an Australian thing. I'm not
Australian,
sure.
maybe Australian and British English, but it's not American. I don't know if I could pull it off, but I'll try.
I know one other word that's Australian is reckon, because that can mean two things. I'm going to reckon with someone seems a bit like more negative, but reckon as in, I reckon that I could do this thing. Like, it's sort of like, I think I could do this, or I reckon something's going to happen.
It's definitely in America, but we would, I think, associate with the Southern United States. We're like, you'd be like, I reckon you guys are coming out to the party tonight. Like, just kind of like a little bit more kind of Southern speak. So it definitely would be another thing I couldn't pull off with my like hard West Coast accent.
So this actually reminds me, there's two things related with weird language things. So one, I might have mentioned this in a previous episode. I feel like I did, but my kids watch a bunch of like Minecraft YouTubers, and several of them happen to be based in the UK. And something that they say a lot is, oh, you're meant to do something. Instead of in the US, you would say you're supposed to do something.
Yes.
And all my kids have now taken that on, and it drives me and my wife crazy because they're like, oh yeah, I was meant to do that. And we're like, no, it's supposed to. And it's completely changed the language of our household.
Really? I would say meant. I say meant. Oh, sorry, I meant to do that. I meant to tidy up today. I meant to put my clothes away. Like, you know.
Well, it's like it's slightly different. So it's not, because I would say that too. Like, oh, I meant to do that.
Yeah.
But if it's something that somebody expects me to do, then I would say, oh, I am supposed to do that, not, oh, I am meant to do that. And that's what my kids would say is, oh, I meant to do that. It's not, I feel like I'm like stumbling over the difference, but it's like wherever I would use the word supposed, they just say meant. Like the word supposed isn't even, it's not even in their vocabulary anymore. It's really strange.
I love that. I think that's funny, but I like that it's driving you crazy.
I think it's easier to say the word meant than supposed.
That's what makes it even more annoying, is that I have no argument, because it's easier to say it the other way, but it just sounds wrong.
Same thing on my side with my kids, except it's straight away. So instead of right away, they say straight away, which isn't an American expression. It's from Bluey, I think. So it's like Australian, but so like, are we gonna go have dinner straight away instead of like right when we get there, or like now?
Yeah,
would be how I would
Speaking
say.
Of like Bluey, like are you familiar with that, Marie?
Of course,
it's Australian.
Of course,
yeah. Okay, because I feel huge, that like that is bringing a lot of like little Australianisms over to the US. Because the same thing, we've started to say brekkie for breakfast, which is very Australian thing, because they say that a lot in the show. Like, oh, you're going to get some brekkie.
I love this for us.
It reminds me of like the 90s, where there was this really big Australia obsession in the US. So there was like Crocodile Dundee and like things that.
Yeah, shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, nobody says that. Nobody would ever say, hey, come over to my house, let's put a shrimp on the barbie. That's not a thing. It's not a thing.
I love barbecue shrimp. So if someone said that to me, I'd be happy.
All right, so let's get to the show a little bit. I did have something I wanted to talk about. This weekend, I've been working on some stuff with Wavepal, and my co-founder, he has another job. So we kind of have, I'm doing my creator business stuff with the course, and then he's got his other full-time job. And then we're kind of doing Wavepal on the side, hoping that someday that takes over. But he's been a little bit backed up. And so I had a couple of pieces of the app that I was kind of stalled on, because I was waiting for him to be able to kind of like do his side of things. But I had some time I wanted to throw at like, hey, let's play around with some Wavepal things. And I ended up 8 hours later, basically sat in front of the computer, and 8 hours later, I built the iPhone app version of Wavepal, which was not at all our plan. It was something we were like, oh, maybe like a year later, we'll kind of play with that. But I was basically, there was a new version of Claude Code. Are you guys familiar with that?
CLOG?
No, Claude. So
Claude,
CLAUDE, the like Anthropic.
Claude. Sorry, I heard clog.
Oh.
Like with a G. Like a
so
like
my problem.
Not just me.
So Claude, Claude,
Right.
Code. Have you heard of
Yes.
Claude Code?
Yes, I have. But tell our listeners.
I reckon I've heard of it because it's talked about heaps and in the media.
Nailed it.
Nailed it.
So for those who haven't heard of Claude Code, so it's a version of Claude, which is like an AI model like ChatGPT, but it specifically works in the console in your like terminal for doing coding with AI. And I was sort of using that to drive building this app. So I've played with React Native before, and so I know React really well, and I've dabbled enough with React Native that I can read the code. And I was using Claude Code to sort of build pieces and then check it along the way. I feel like that's the gap where a lot of people do like the quote unquote vibe coding for people that don't code. And there's this gap where AI models, at least today, will do stuff that doesn't make any sense. It's like, this is terrible code. This is a bad thing to do for a variety of reasons, but it's really easy to miss if you're not familiar with that code. So I was able to sort of like step by step as I was building, like watching, looking through all the code and seeing what made sense. And when it didn't, I could sort of add like, oh, why did you do it like this? And half the time, Claude would be like, oh, sorry, I didn't, that's a terrible idea. I shouldn't have done it like that. It was kind of like I took somebody, like I was working with an intern or something that knew a programming language really well that I didn't know. And I was sort of over the shoulder driving, building this app. Yeah, it was super fun and went really well. It's not connected yet because we haven't actually built the API, but so it's working with like dummy code. But that actually is a pretty simple step. I think we'll probably be able to have this like usable with people in just, I don't know, maybe a few weeks, which is pretty exciting because it's the sort of thing whenever I talk to people about Wavepal, like, oh, it's this app that does this. And like, oh, that would be great to have on my phone. And yeah, it's the first place. And I was feeling it too. Like as I'm using the app, we have the web app mobile optimized, but it's just so much better to use in an actual app.
And also you get tired of answering that question.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like one of those go-to objections
Yeah.
where somebody hears about it like, oh, cool. Oh, it doesn't have an iPhone app. Now they're not interested.
Someday.
Yeah.
The other thing is like Wavepal is all about, staying connected with your friends. And if it connects to your phone, which has like your contact list, it's going to be heaps easy. Heaps. I just said it. Heaps easier.
No, I didn't mean to call you out because I like that you say that. I don't want you to feel.
Right. But the contacts are on the phone.
Yeah. That's a great point. I was thinking of it a lot of times where I'm out with somebody, like we go to get coffee and then just be able to pull it up real quick and add a wave.
Yeah.
Or if you're at a conference and you meet somebody, being able to quickly add them to your Wavepal as a contact. And so a lot of uses like that where it's just like having an iPhone version and maybe eventually Android. But having a mobile version makes it so much easier to do a lot of that stuff that you would want to do with the app. So I'm pretty excited.
In addition to the AI insight here, I think we also should point out this is also called hyperfocus. This is what Jesse did here, because ADHDers, the term superpower isn't one we love because it kind of diminishes some of the things we struggle with. But for ADHD founders and entrepreneurs, that is something that kicks in every now and then, and it's awesome. It can be bad, but like sometimes it's great.
Yeah, the problem with hyperfocus is sometimes you spend 8 hours and then you get to the end of it and you're like, what did I do with all that time?
Wrong thing. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not worthwhile.
Did I just optimize my email inbox instead of doing anything on my product today or whatever the thing is? Yeah. But you did something very cool. So
yeah, but when the stars align for the hyperfocus, it can be super valuable because it's one of those things where I got it going. And I'm like, oh, okay, the list looks good. Okay, and then I can do this. Oh, I wonder if I could add that. Oh, let's do this. And then pretty soon I'm like, this does basically everything the web app does. Again, it's not actually hooked up to the API, so it's technically not doing anything yet, but I've built with that sort of in mind. I basically have like a file that's like a pretend API. And so I'm like using that to pull all the contacts, pull their waves, sort it, and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm pretty excited with how well this came together. And I thought that might be something worth exploring today, just sort of the different ways that we're using AI, because it's kind of whatever you think of AI, it's impossible to ignore AI. It's so much a part of just, especially as a founder, especially for Maria and I as like the technical co-founder, like we're inundated with it. And so I think maybe I'd love to hear your initial take, like how are you using AI these days?
Well, I think even just like one macro point was highlighting one thing that you said, Jesse, which is pretending like it's your intern that
I
you're
loved that.
supervising, because
Yeah.
I think that's a really great way to put it. I use AI, and I'll talk about specific examples, but I use it all throughout the day in various ways. And it is very helpful for me to just get the flywheel going. And I honestly, I'm like, give me a bad idea. Like, I'll just put something in. Like, I'm a really creative person, and that's not something I struggle with generally. But like, I love hear an idea that I don't agree with and just going from there. And so like, that's a perfect use for it because it's not going to be perfect. It's like an idea from an intern. But if you're just saying like, what should the subject line be for this email? Or here's my plan for the day. What should I do first? Or whatever it is, the objection you might feel from it, that kind of feeling of objection can actually be super powerful to just be productive. Like, throw away any actual content that it's giving you, but just that flywheel effect I really like.
Yeah, it's kind of like you can ask it, like you're saying with the email example, where you might be stuck and you're like, what should I do for the subject for this email? I don't know. Let me ask Claude or ChatGPT. And it gives you a few, you're like, well, those are terrible, but this third one, maybe I can tweak that one and make something better. It kind of gives you something to work with. It's the same sort of thing like writer's block. It's way easier to fix a page of writing that's terrible, that's like your crappy first draft, than it is to have the blank page and just like start.
Mm-hmm.
And ChatGPT really, like those AI agents, whatever you're using, can really help sort of kickstart by giving you something to look at and then like critique and fix and change and kind of move on from there. That's what I was doing with the code too, where it would do some stuff and I was like, oh, no, that's not what I want at all. But now it kind of gives me the language to work with of like, why does what the screen looks like right now, like what do I want different from that? Rather than me just sort of like trying to describe it from scratch. It sort of gives me something to compare to and work from.
I use it in a similar way. I like this whole, kind of getting started, like a blank page versus having something to look at and build upon. And I use it for coding too, but I'll give a different example because like recently I had a bit of hyperfocus on this. As someone with ADHD, I have like a real problem with like making meals for the day. Like I'm so bad when it comes to eating. Like I forget to eat, I forget to drink, and then suddenly I get to, like 2:00 and I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. I need to eat something or I'm going to like fall over and die. And so recently what I've been doing is I've been asking ChatGPT to help me meal plan. So I've basically told it everything I've got in my fridge and my pantry. And where it's got a nutritional label, I've been taking photos and uploading it to like a specific chat and saying like, here's what I've got. Here are the foods I like to eat because I tend to eat the same food like over and over and over again. Like I might have the same meal like 3 days in a row or 5 days in a row, and then I'm sort of done with it. Like I go through phases. I always have like the same types of food in my fridge and my pantry. So it knows everything I've got. And I basically say, hey, I like to eat these things. And like, can you give me like breakfast, lunch, and dinner ideas with snacks in between? And it will do this whole meal
plan.
plan.
Do you mean brekkie?
Oh, yeah,
brekkie, right?
brekkie. Yeah, so it's been doing that, and it's also been telling me like calorie counts and stuff because I told it like I want to try and eat like a certain number of calories a day, and can you make sure that I'm actually doing that and tell me if I'm behind at any given point. So when I eat something, I also go, hey, here's what I ate. And I was taking pictures and it was figuring out what I ate, or I just tell it, hey, I had like, eggs on toast, and it will calculate and go, hey, you're a bit behind today. You need to eat a bit more and maybe you should go get like this snack, and it will suggest something. And that's been really cool. The only downside is like sometimes it gets even though I uploaded the calories, like sometimes it makes mistakes. Like it's like you've literally got it. You've got the file, and I pay for ChatGPT, so it can remember all the stuff. Like it's got a huge memory, because if you don't pay for it, if you use the free version, the memory is limited. It doesn't remember everything, but it remembers everything. It's got the files, and sometimes it still gets it wrong. And so that's the only downside. Like it's kind of correct. It's in the ballpark, but it's like you literally have it and you got it wrong. Like you literally have the file and you got it wrong.
Yeah, it can be. AI is not great at counting. Like it's getting better, but
Anything with
counting,
numbers
it's
is in
really
math. It's
struggles.
not good with that sort of stuff. Yeah.
It's been a big challenge for Shelpful because people use that very similar to how you're describing, Marie. Like, hey, I'm going to tell you, I just had 20 ounces of water, just had 12 ounces. And they're like, this is going to be easy. It's going to count it up perfectly. And we worked so hard on this, like to try to, I mean, I won't go into all the details, but like it was like a major bee in my bonnet for a really long time. It's gotten better with the models, it has, but there's little holes that AI still struggles with, and it's just kind of part of the like language and reasoning side of it. And then also it, like Jesse mentioned, has excessive politeness and like kind of comes with this is actually the term, you guys know this. Hallucinations is the term for when AI just makes stuff up. And it like confidently, like it's like someone like tapping a mic and like standing in front of a room, like this is the exact answer. It'll even make up URLs sometimes that are just not real URLs. So like there's still gaps.
Yeah, just on that real quick, the hallucination, there's an issue with that with things like using it with coding, because it'll make up packages like packages, like extensions you can install basically into your code. Like, oh, somebody already built a little mini calendar that I want in my app, I'm going to install that. There's all sorts of like packages like that people install for people that aren't familiar. Usually most projects will have like 30, 40, 50, 100 different of all these different packages that add little pieces to your code. But what's happening is the hallucination is making up packages that don't exist. And then like spamware is squatting on those made up URLs. And so it might actually install some package no one's ever heard of, but somebody figured it out and grabbed it, and then it installs code that like, I don't know, searches your hard drive for like your Bitcoin password or something like that. There's all this like hackware that's happening from these hallucinated package names.
I've actually not had that.
That's wild.
I've not had that yet. I think, I've never had it tell me.
You have to be careful for sure.
Yeah. I mean, just
anytime
go straight
it's
to the source, go straight to NPM and like.
Yeah, which is why with Claude Code, you can enable certain things where it'll just do it automatically. But I go through it step by step so I can see every change it's doing. And whenever it like suggests, oh, you should add this extension, I go look it up first to make sure, like, is this like a real, like, is this something that has like 3 stars? If so, I'm not going to install it. Like, I got to make sure it's something legit.
Like a powerhouse intern who lies also.
Yes, exactly.
That's what AI is. It's the intern that is a workhorse, but just has an actual lying problem.
Right. And the lying
compulsively
may undermine you accidentally. Like you got to kind of watch them a little bit.
And then, but also like you call them out. You're like, hey, that wasn't right. And I'm so sorry. You're totally right. That was completely wrong. Like that's always the answer you're going to get, which is so like the supplication from an error is just so funny.
What about the prompts that you put in or I can't remember what it's called.
Custom instructions.
Yeah, that's right. Custom instructions. Like I've told mine, like, if you're not sure, like, please ask, clarifying questions. Do not automatically agree with what I say. If, you think that it's wrong, like, please sort of challenge me. And it still hallucinates.
Right.
But I think it's probably a little bit better. Like I've told it, like, I don't want you to automatically agree with me. Just like, try and be objective. If you have things that contradict what I say, tell me.
Yes.
And I think that's helped.
Kind of related with that. I mean, you can set that stuff in the custom instructions, which is like basically setting up a prompt that'll always be included for any future ones.
I always call it like the permanent brain, kind of like that will always be checked with every answer. Go ahead, Jesse.
Per project as well. Like you can do it per project.
Yeah, well, the other thing I was going to say that you can do with ChatGPT specifically is tell it, remember this. And that'll like cue it to add it to like its little memory. And it'll give you like a little like notification that like, oh, this has been added to the memory or something. And so that's something that can help too. If you're like, please don't be polite and agree with everything, challenge, and please remember this. And it'll give like a little thing that says like updated memory.
But be careful if you're on the free plan because the memory is limited. So after a while, that might be all the way at the bottom and it might be kicked out. That's the main thing that made me pay for it was like, I want you to remember all the stuff that you said you're going to remember. And I don't want to question what you remember and what you don't and have to check. So then that was like my main reason for paying.
Right.
Do you guys pay
Yeah.
for it?
Yeah.
I do. Yeah.
Are you on like the $200 or like the crazy one or I think I pay like
Sharon is looking like she's on the crazy
holy
plan.
crap, you pay $200 a month?
I'm currently temporarily, and actually, if you guys could remind me to cancel this,
Remember this.
I'm currently on the $200 a month because I wanted to do an extreme test of the new OpenAI agent. There's a few things that they just rolled out to the top tier, and because I mean my business is also AI, so I felt like it was a worthy 1 month expense to like go deep on just seeing where agents are. And agents, to quickly define that, an AI agent is going to actually do a thing for you. So it's not just going to respond to you and tell you information. It actually will go try to do it. And so that was something that's interesting to me because my service helps support people on their habits and tasks. And of course, like the next step of that would be to do the thing for them, right? Or like, I need to pay this bill. All right, let me go do that for you. Our service doesn't do that right now. In my opinion, no agent does that well right now. There's a lot of human intervention that still has to happen. So like I've used the agents and it'll go, a couple pages in and then it's like, oh, we need you again. And so and like I had watching it half the time. I'm like, what's it going to do next? And so it's completely not helping me in terms of time management, but it's just interesting. I like to kind of get checkpoints of like where the AI technology is so that I can just stay on top of it and know where it's going. But yeah, I'm going to cancel that right now. Excuse me.
So I did try the crazy plan for the $200 or whatever it was for ChatGPT. And it was mostly I wanted to test out the research because when research had just come out earlier this year, it was only available on that plan. I don't remember if that's still the case or not.
Do you need a reminder to go cancel it as well?
No, I did. I think I did get charged twice, and I was really sad because I was like so intent. I'm just going to do it for a month. And it is canceled now, or back down to like the pro plan, whatever, like the basic one where you're paying plus, whatever they name it, pro plus, HBO Max, whatever that plan is. And then with Claude, I was using like the base plan for that. But so the thing with Claude Code, I was actually using it before, like I don't know, 6 months ago at my previous job, where basically our manager said like, use it as much. Like I want everyone to be using this all the time. But the problem was Claude Code was expensive. You would do like interaction with it and it'd be writing code. And you could easily, like 15 minutes, you could spend like $20, $30, and it would just be updating along. And so if you do that 8 hours a day, like that can add up really quickly. They just recently announced a few weeks ago or something that if you get the pro plan, which is $100 a month, then code is free. So there's no overages for code. And so I upgraded to try that of like, I wanted to do this thing, experiment to see if doing the React app was going to work or the mobile app with React Native. And so far I was like, money well spent.
Yeah. I mean, you made a whole app that you definitely got your money's worth. I promise I was listening, but I did change my subscription while you were talking. So now I'm back on the 20.
Very nice.
I have ADHD. I can't depend on these things. I need to sometimes just do them.
Yes, good call.
You managed to multitask. That's impressive.
It didn't take much thinking, and they do make it easy. They don't hide it, which is, ethical and good. Because I get very, very angry at people who hide subscriptions. Gosh. We're actually in our AI iOS app that's coming out, because we remind people of tasks. Like that's part of the app. Like we're going to remind them before their subscription renews, like as part of it.
Well, Apple will do that anyway. Like both the app stores will automatically do that for you.
Well, that's if you do the in-app.
Oh, are you not doing in-app? I thought you were doing in-app.
Yeah, we're doing in-app, but our users are going to be in a chat with an AI. Like, yeah, I drank water today. Yeah, I just went on my walk. And so like, I felt like it'd be remiss to not have the AI buddy that they're chatting with, not say like, hey, just remember,
here's how you cancel.
If you need to cancel, you can, or that your subscription's coming up. Like actually just adding it to their list so that they know it's on there.
Yeah, because otherwise it's an email. It will be an email otherwise.
It's an email, which I see 0 emails approximately. So I just, and I just want, I want to like earn money the right way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do want my business to be successful, but not on the backs of ADHDers who forget to cancel subscriptions.
People do forget. So Llama Life's a subscription model, and we do remind people before it comes up, and like several times, and people still
email.
forget.
Yeah.
Email. Yeah, it's email.
Yeah.
So it's using like App Store, and then we also take payments on the web. And so our payment processor on the web will remind people, I think it's 3 days before or a week before and then 3 days before. I think there's several. But people still forget all the time.
Can we pivot just a little bit here, because now I'm suddenly realizing like I put zero brain effort into thinking about the payment of having an iPhone app and a web app and like shared login. Like, how does that work? Like, where? So you both have that where you both, well, I guess Sharon, yours is more,
We haven't launched it yet.
just mobile, but
Yours is just mobile. Yours is not just mobile. Sharon, don't you guys take payments on the web?
We do, because for our service that runs over WhatsApp, we do payments on the
That's
web
right,
through Stripe. So like you could obviously mobile web too, and then you use the product in WhatsApp, but the billing is through Stripe, so you get the email reminder and all that. The iPhone app is going to have payments in the app through Apple, obviously.
So for that, is it a separate sort of subscription, or is it the same subscription but going through Apple?
Same cost. So you wouldn't be able to sign up for the iPhone app subscription. The products are also slightly different. So we're not going to do the thing where you have like some web subscription that covers you on the app too, because it'd just be too complex. And so we're just going to have them isolated because they're different products. I mean, if there actually wouldn't, the WhatsApp, we built it completely different and better. Like we kind of improved things.
Oh, it's a different product.
I mean, it's similar, but different. Yeah. Because the WhatsApp, we built the first version to run on the WhatsApp Rails via Twilio. So it was very uniquely built for that. So we had to kind of repipe the whole thing and build it kind of from scratch. Obviously, there were things we could borrow with prompts and things, but we, because it's built separately, like the AI wouldn't be like chatting with you on the app and then go ping you on WhatsApp. They're just going to be separate.
Right. So how's that going to change your marketing site when you kind of have both of those going?
I was just thinking about that. I mean, I think that because the iPhone app is my top priority because I believe it's just such a better experience. In the marketing world, we always say like lead with the best and roll with the rest. So I want to lead with the iPhone app. And then because I love my Android friends, they can still use WhatsApp. And we have coaches who are using our WhatsApp product to help their clients. And so they'll still have access to the WhatsApp. So we're not shutting that down, but we're definitely going to prioritize messaging the iPhone app.
That makes sense, I think, for Shelpful, because like you want your own platform, not relying on WhatsApp.
Even just the last month, I'm so relieved that we're so far down the road on the iPhone app and getting, hopefully ready to release it this summer. They just increased their restrictions. Like text, everyone who wants to build a business on text message, it's a really cool idea. It's a great way to get started and doing this. But WhatsApp is adopting a lot of the tight restrictions of the SMS industry. And so they completely locked down all the types of messages we could send when somebody is inactive, like they haven't messaged us in 24 hours. We used to be able to send these really custom responses. Like we built them and they were approved by WhatsApp, but they were variable. Like, hey, Jesse, I remember you wanted to work on going on a walk. Like, how's that going? Just to try to wake you up and bring you back because you have ADHD, like most of our customers. Right. And they completely shut all those follow-up messages down this month. So it was like a panic moment for us, but we're like, thank God we have the iPhone app in process. And we did some workarounds. There's basically just like a horrible message that goes like, you are currently registered, reply C to continue chatting. So which is awful.
Because it's treating you like a business chat.
Yes. It's treating us like a marketing chat more specifically.
Yes. All the time. And
right.
So that's why it's limiting the number of times you can just reach out to them.
Is that because like you're using the API that you get kind of labeled that way?
Most 99.999% of businesses that are using messaging like WhatsApp or text for their business are giving shipping notifications, appointment reminders, those types of things. So that's the only thing that they've modeled it for. And then we're a small company, so I can't be like, hey, Mark Zuckerberg, I would like to have my messages seen differently.
Yeah.
We're too small.
You can't throw that Shelpful weight around to make a change.
And it's crappy because like it's not the way it should be because our customers are literally paying us to be able to message them, not for appointment reminders. So yeah.
It kind of seems like the current way of using Shelpful with WhatsApp is probably going to be like your legacy product that maybe
Yeah.
sunsets
Right.
once things really kind of get going with the mobile version.
Yeah.
With that in mind, I think that kind of makes a lot of sense that you're kind of just keeping it separate so you can keep that the current customers kind of doing their thing and just
Right.
sort of like focus on the new and like you're saying with the marketing site.
And not being wrapped up in a platform that we have so little control over. I mean, that's where that's a hard place for a business to be, right? Like if all your growth comes from Instagram ads and then they change like one thing on the algorithm, you're screwed. Like, you know, you never want to be in a place where everything is resting on somebody else's decisions. I mean, obviously, well, Apple is also, but they, you know, they've been doing this a long time.
Plus, the EU is really making them make a bunch of
I
changes.
know.
Plus, their whole whole case with Epic and how that all went down. There's going to be a whole bunch of changes with how things go with Apple.
Yeah. You don't have to necessarily use the App Store to take the payments.
For anyone who hasn't been following it, they're kind of getting cracked down on from multiple angles on how they charge developers to have their app in the App Store. Basically, like they take a huge cut. And there's a lot of different ways that kind of manifests. And so people have been pushing back for a long time, and now there seems to be some movement.
One of the key things of that argument was that the App Store takes too much. So I think they take like 30% of your payment. If you are a small business, and that's defined by having revenue, a certain annual revenue under like a certain amount, which I think for people starting out, like that's pretty much, it'll be everyone. You can actually apply to get a smaller fee. So instead of 30%, Apple will take 15%. So they still take something, but it'll be like heaps less.
I mean, it really is heaps less, yeah.
And it literally takes like 2 minutes to apply. It's like very, very quick. I can't remember how, like just Google like small businesses.
It's right there in the App Store Connect if you're
okay.
You like have an app in test flight. So Marie gave me that hot tip right when we started, and I was very grateful. Thanks, Marie.
Nice. Yeah, we'll be hopefully doing that soon as well. I think one of the things that I'm excited about with the change because of the Epic court case, where I don't know if both of you read the ruling or whatever on that, but that judge sounded really upset with Apple.
She was pissed.
She was awesome. Actually, like she was.
It was pretty. It was pretty awesome.
It was like passive aggressive too, kind of like as previously said, and then that was an outright lie. Like it was just
no nonsense.
Don't read the cliff notes. Read the actual finding because it was vicious.
It's pretty good. One of the things I love that I really hated that Apple did before was they wouldn't even let you like link out to stuff. And so if you were a product that was like maybe your primary product was online and then you had your app version, you couldn't say that anywhere in the app. They had like all these rules around saying linking out to anything. So like with Substack, for example, I think they have in-app now, but they didn't for a long time. And there was just nothing that said how to pay. It was like, oh, you can only get this if you're a subscriber, but there's no link anywhere and there's no information because they legally, or not legally, but according to Apple's rules, weren't allowed to even tell users. So I would get emails from people saying, I see I can't access this. How do I get access?
And you're like, oh my gosh, how many subscribers would I have if it weren't so hard? Like, because who's going to go out of their way?
Annoying.
Like, honestly, like the amount of time and effort it takes to go ask someone how to pay for something, I'm gone. Like, I'm done.
Right. So the fact that I was hearing from people meant probably 10 times more people that would have paid if it had been easy and obvious for what to do.
So Sharon, what you just said about that friction, that's kind of why for Llama Life, we did do the in-app payments because at one point so Llama Life it's just one product, and that one product has a web version and it's got an iOS and an Android version. So it started with the web, and so we took payments on the web. But when we introduced the two mobile apps, it was like, well, should we do kind of what you're saying? Just don't take an in-app payment and maybe just don't say anything and someone's got to go pay online and then come back, because you can pay anywhere with Llama Life and you get access to any platform. So you can pay on iOS, you'll still get access to the web and the Android app if you also have an Android phone, and vice versa. You pay on the web, you just automatically get the mobile apps.
Is it the same Android too? You can pay on Android?
You can pay on Android and you'll have access to the web version. And if you also happen to have a second phone and an iPhone, you get access to everything, basically. It's the same products. Right. We decided to take the in-app payments in these, like each store, Google Play and the App Store, because of the friction thing. You literally are right there. You got the payment page, you choose a plan. On iOS, you just double click the power button and you pay, and that's it. But with ADHD as well, like if you put one more step in the way, it's like, okay, we're going to open like a web view, and you're going to go to a web page, and then people have to go, oh, what's my credit card number? They might not have it with them. Whereas if it's through the App Store, it's already saved, right? It's Apple Pay or whatever. Just for that very reason, it was like, well, we're going to implement the native payment.
Right.
And so in that
Yeah,
case,
makes
Jesse,
sense.
if you do something like that, your database is your best friend. You got everything stored in your database. Like you need to store where they've paid. So literally have a property in the database saying payment platform, iOS, Android, or web. Because if somebody pays on the web and then say they don't use the web much after that, and they're just 90% in the phone and they're trying to cancel, they're going through the phone going, I can't cancel. I can't find my subscription. It's not here. Like, and then they get angry because they're like, you're trying to make it hard to cancel. It's like, no, you don't actually have a subscription through the App Store. You paid on the web. So then when they try and do that, it checks the database and goes, you actually paid on the web, go here. It directs them and goes, you need to go manage your subscription here, and vice versa. They go on the web and it's like, actually, you paid in the App Store. You need to go do it in the App Store.
Saves you some customer service responses also.
Oh,
hopefully.
100%. Yeah. Because like when the customer service chats come through, like it'll tell me where they've paid.
So now that I'm trying to remember how long it's been, because you were web only for a long time.
Yeah.
And then has it been about like a year since you've had an iPhone and Android app?
It's probably about a year since we launched it. Yeah.
And
about a
like as of now, like roughly, do you know like what percentage of people are on paying which different way?
Oh, yes.
Putting you on the spot for the numbers.
No, it's fine.
With like exact numbers.
Well, it's still more payment on the web.
Yeah.
We still have more customers on the web. I think it's about 4,000 customers.
Because the recurrence, because they were already there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Is that because they were there beforehand?
And for new ones, you might see more of a balance, probably.
Yeah, but I do think the phone will overtake the web over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just that it started from behind. And also, there are services that manage both Apple and Google Play, because implementing it code-wise, they're two different things. Like you have to learn Apple's way and you have to learn Google's way. And then you also have to make sure you're keeping up with any changes that they make.
RevenueCat, is that what you use? Oh,
RevenueCat.
sorry. We just steal your...
No, that's cool. Sorry. Like it's good that you kind of have the same... These are the same service.
It seems like they're the game in town, like in terms of like reviews and everything. Like they do a really good job of having it all unified.
Yeah. Well, this is great because I haven't even heard of them. So
yeah, they have amazing FAQs too. So like any question you have about Apple, yes,
the coding documentation is like one of the best I've ever seen. And yeah, literally. So the two benefits are that instead of learning Apple and Google's way, you learn RevenueCat, and RevenueCat will make sure that you implement it once in RevenueCat, and it will take that. It's a bit like React Native. It'll take that and go, okay, whatever code you've got here, we're going to do that for App Store and Google Play. And the second benefit is if the App Store or Google Play change stuff, RevenueCat's whole business is around that. It's up to them to keep up with all the changes. You don't have to do it. They do it behind the scenes. Your code doesn't have to change. Like they are the ones like going, okay, we need to like change whatever.
And all the little marketing elements of subscriptions and payments, right? So like there's literally so many. So think about like offer codes, percentages off, different packages, like an annual package, a monthly package, a weekly package, a daily package, like all the different ways you could get a subscription. There's literally hundreds probably of permutations. They have that all in there. So if you're kind of doing offer codes, you can have a kind of a unified approach to that. As the person who thinks about marketing at my company, that is bringing me some sanity too.
Yeah, and with Shelpful, you're not doing Android at all, so it's worth it for you, even though you're not doing Android, right?
Not yet. We plan to do Android, so like I think it's also it's making the decision early to have it there. Totally. We are going to do Android. We're just doing iPhone first.
Right. And for anyone that is curious about RevenueCat, like I am right now, it looks like it's actually free if you're making under $2,000 a month. And so that's like a nice, really easy entry to kind of try it out and see if that's a good match.
I always felt like that was so smart for SaaS companies to do that, just based on revenue, because it's like you grow. I mean, that's Stripe, which is a huge company. If you're not familiar with them, they grew with their companies. So they got like little baby Instacart, this tiny little startup to use Stripe, and then just grew with them, and obviously a lot of others. So I just think that's brilliant. In a consumer space, I wish I could do something like that.
RevenueCat is like one of the, the bills that I get every month that I'm happy to see is increasing. After that free sort of $2,000 thing, when you have to start paying, it's a percentage. So if I'm paying them more, it means that the business is also growing, and I'm happy to pay that fee just, mainly for that maintenance thing I said, Jesse, like them keeping up with stuff and I don't have to, and making it easy for me to test different things or change stuff if I want
Nice.
to. Yeah. Yeah. Because we actually started doing like using the native like app store, and it's so confusing. It was one of those situations where you go through documentation. If we've got any developers listening, like you go through the documentation and you find yourself like going in circles. Like there's old documentation that it ends up linking to, and you're like, wait, I'm back here. Wait, I'm like going there, and I found like the path that I'm supposed to be on. I'm learning, and then I'm like, wait, it's linked me back here, and now I'm just going in circles through new documentation, linking to old documentation. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I can't find the thing. So like that's the experience we had with the App Store payments. And then RevenueCat was just like super clear.
It's like you're playing one of those old text adventure games and you keep ending up in the cave. You're like, how am I still in the cave? I'm trying to get to the next place. What do I do here?
I love those games, like a little bit of a tangent, but like that's how I learned to type. Those really old school
Nice.
games. And we're kind of showing our age here, but like those old games where you kind of have to walk somewhere, you go, there's a door, and you have to type like open door and pick up whatever object. And if you don't type fast, sometimes you die. So like, you have to
in
get
Australia,
away from
did you guys
something.
have the game, The Oregon Trail in Australia?
We did, but I never played it.
Yeah, it involved reading and typing.
Yeah,
and it was many kids, millennial kids, played that.
Yeah,
in
that's
school.
why I identify as someone of the quote unquote Oregon Trail generation. So I was born in 1980, and there's like this small kind of micro generation between, was it millennials and Gen X, sometimes called Zennials, like with an X, Zennials. But because like when I went to school, when I started at school, like in elementary, like there were not computers anywhere. Like computers didn't, like quote unquote, didn't exist in like most people's real world. And then by the time I graduated like elementary school in 6th grade, computers were everywhere because
like the little Mac,
the computers came in.
Macintosh.
Yeah, those little Macs came in, and everybody played Oregon Trail all the time. It was just like the game that we did. Learning how to ford a river, and like everybody dying of dysentery. And
I was going to say, your friends, and you could name I mean, people who are probably millennials listening, you could name, that was the best part. You'd name all the characters after your friends and family. And then you'd be like,
my brother died.
Hey, Heather, you died of dysentery. Like yell it in the computer lab.
Computer lab. Oh my God. The games that I really liked were made by a company called Sierra. Do you remember this?
Sierra did the best adventure games.
Space Quest. They were all named quests, like Space Quest, Police Quest, King's Quest. King's Quest was the first game I played. King's Quest. Yep. And you have to kind of map it out, and you walk around and do stuff. And oh my God, I love those games so much. I still love them.
All right, the real show ended like 4 or 5 minutes ago, but now we're just into reminiscing about old computer games.
Oh yeah, I mean, I was gonna say, should we rapid fire? We started talking about AI and then got into subscriptions.
All right, well, we're gonna wrap up there. Thanks for listening, everybody. If people want to follow you, Marie, where should they go?
You can find me on Instagram at lamalife.co, or just search for Llama Life in the Google Play or the App Store. And Jesse, where can people find you?
You can find me online. ADHD Jesse is my username everywhere. My ADHD newsletter is extrafocus.com. And Wavepal, there's no iOS version yet, but you can sign up for the want list there at wavepal.app. And Sharon, you've got some construction happening behind you, but why don't you go ahead and share where people can go to follow you?
Yeah, let's see if you can hear me. You can find Shelpful at shelpful.com. It's SHELPFUL. And I also post on our Instagram mostly, but also TikTok, and that's at Shelpful. And we're inviting beta testers. You can still sign up to be a beta tester if you'd like to try our iPhone app that helps you do your habits and tasks. You can find that link in my Instagram profile. It might be the easiest way. And you can find all of us at ADHD_founders on Instagram, on TikTok. And obviously, if you thought this very mishmash conversation was your style, you should subscribe to this on your favorite podcasting platform.
Awesome. See you guys next time.
Awesome. See ya.
Thanks, guys.